actually didn't know Tim that long. I met him in '99. So I have just a sliver of his life, but it was very intense. And so it's really interesting for me to see and meet all the people from before that he talked about so much.
96.
96.
Was it 96? Okay, 96. All right, thank you. I'm getting old. But one of the things that we talked a lot about was...
It was earlier than that.
Okay. It was 89. Might have been 89. Okay, I had a decade off, right? Anyway, details, which was not one of the things Tim was good at anyway. But I remember one of the things that we focused a lot on was this whole notion of cyberspace. And he kept talking about how it was about the social thing. It was about empowering. It was about vending machines and efficiency and power. And so one of the things, first of all, he would have invented MySpace and Facebook and blogs and all this stuff if we were here. So he'd actually be rich. Unfortunately, he didn't get that far. But one of the really important things also, I think, was that as he was preparing for his death, he was thinking about the online stuff, he was thinking about the archives, but he wasn't necessarily the best at keeping things kind of in order. I mean, it was kind of a mess, to be honest. And so what's really amazing about this party and what you've done with the archives and the digitization is, in the past, we would, and I think, wasn't it you, John, that said you get the Timothy Leary that you deserve? Right? So we would all get the little Timothy Leary that we deserve, we'd be on our way, and we would never come back together again. And the archives would end up in some basement somewhere, and that'd be the end of it. But now, if we could put the archives back online, and all of us with the Timothy Learys that we deserve connect again and tie up our loose ends, we can actually recreate him, and he's coming back to life. Right? And this is really what we're doing. And this is really the internet that Barlow's been talking about, that Tim's been talking about, and actually, in fact, you know, I think it was, I'm trying to remember who it was who said that the last collapse was the internet fending off the attack, right? And I think that the new internet is all about the social. And so I think this putting the archives online, putting us all back together, reconnecting the loose ends, is really about bringing Tim back to life. And luckily we have every excruciating piece of his life in the archive. So as long as we can keep those safe and put them back online, I think Timothy will be actually back. And one thing I remember when there was actually a John C. Lilly event in Tokyo, and everybody was talking about Lilly all day long, and at the end of it, he was supposed to go up and speak, and then he said, you know, I'm not going to say anything because you all know me a lot better than I can ever remember anything about me. And similarly, I think collectively we know more about Tim than he ever did. And so we will actually make a Tim that's much more complete than whenever he was alive. And so hopefully we can work together, and for that we need to save the archives and make them available online.
Thank you. I think Timothy Leary inspired quite a few people to do things that they'd never done before. And I think even after his passing, he's inviting people to do things that they've never done before. And what I find quite amazing about this archive is that he's doing something new and different, something I've never seen done before. Usually when somebody of Timothy Leary's stature passes, there's a collecting of materials, there's a party, there's some institution is selected, and all of the materials are put in a box and rolled down and down into a third-level basement to be seen by 3 or 4 biographers ever in the future. But Timothy Leary wanted to do something else, and this was not only to create cyberspace, but to live forever in it. And he's inspired not just himself, but others to come around him and cause this to come true. And it's because of Dennis, because of some inspiring young people that there's going to be a movie about that you've got to see, that have spent time and effort putting this together. Lisa Rein going and spending now probably a man-year going and putting this thing together. Go, Lisa. That there are people going and taking these materials, digitizing them, and making them available to the public for free for whatever they want to do. Timothy Leary lives on, and I think he's the first person to ever have gone and taken all of the works of his stuff and having his heirs that are often not as enlightened as the heirs of Timothy Leary, to go and say, yes, we want to go and open this up and give it to the world and then put it in proper physical storage. So thank you very much. This is an inspiring, wonderful first for all of us.
So I just wanted to give you some really important information. Even like $50, somewhere between 50 and 100 bucks, we'll digitize a box. And we're trying to just do a box at a time. There's more than 400 of them. So we need to get started quickly. And even just a couple dollars from everybody here would set us going for a couple months. So that's all I wanted to say. Come back.
I just wanted to thank everybody for coming. This is, you know, everybody knows a different piece of Timothy. My godfather, Ron, there, says everybody gets, Timmy was the one-on-one on personal psychology. He might be talking to 500 different people, and 500 different people would get a different thing that was inside themselves. And, you know, it's just, it means a lot to me because Timmy was more than just like the icon of the 60s. I mean, he made a lot, he knows that he made mistakes as a father, but he made up for it as a grandfather, I tell you that. I know I wouldn't be the person I would be right now if Timmy didn't love me. And that means a lot to me. Hold on a second, please. Give me a second. Love you. You know, I bounced around. I know it was hard. I didn't have my mother, didn't have my father. Bounced around, and Timmy drove miles and hours to come take me and visit me. And you know, the things that people go through that can end up in bad situations, and I didn't. I have two beautiful children, and I don't know if you saw them. They had to go home because it's late, and we don't want to mess up with rules. Goodness, of all places, to not mess up rules. I mean, anyways. So, you know, they had to go home, but if you saw the two beautiful children, the 15-year-old with the curly hair, that's my daughter, Davina. And the little baby, oops, you know, that's Dylan, Timothy Copeland. And my sister, who was here, she went home too. And my brother who's in Florida, you know, this means a lot. And Zach, wherever the heck he is, I love you, Zach. We've been through a lot. I love you. And, you know, and Ashley loves you too. Damn Supreme being bullshit. Look at that horrible hair color. What was I thinking with that blonde? Anyways. And I thank you guys for really wanting to put some real life into it and say, hey, look, it's freaking 2009. And why the hell is the Leary.com thing just totally messed up, nobody knowing, and you guys really wanting to put some effort in it means a lot. And I want to thank you guys because I know you want to bring it to the mainstream, and that's what needs to happen. I mean, goodness, and there's more to Timmy than that. And, you know, he was a grandpa. I loved him, and I wouldn't be the person I am without him. And, you know, that means a lot to me that you guys are here and trying to, you know, get some money to, you know, because, shoot, he's right. What was you? You're right, the heirs you think when Timothy Leary heirs would get stuff, and it's not about the money to me, it's the fact that he loved me. And there was a lot of people, Ron and Vicky, I love you guys, you know, you did a lot too, and Chris and Joey, they try to get things going, and, you know, there's so many other people that, you know, that happens, and Dennis, I love you, and, you know, too bad Rosemary's in here, too, because
Yes, she is.
Yes, you're right, she is. And Vicky isn't here, but, you know, I'm sorry I'm rambling, because he just means, he meant a lot to me, and this means a lot to me, and I loved him, and he really loved me, and he would always say, Dieadra, I'm your oldest and dearest friend. When he was escaped in Switzerland, hiding out, my Uncle Jack called him and said, Dieadra and Susan are living in a pathetic hotel. I was a little baby hiding out after we escaped from San Luis Obispo over there. So, yeah, I just wanted to let you know there's more to Timmy because he was a grandfather, a very good one, and a great grandfather. So, thank you for listening to me. I appreciate that, okay?